Azura is known as a prince of dusk and dawn, the queen of the night sky, and a guardian of transition, prophecy, and fate. Unlike many Daedric princes who are overtly malevolent, Azura is often portrayed as compassionate, though still enigmatic and capable of cruelty. Azura governs over change and twilight, both literal and metaphorical. She is associated with moments of transformation, such as life and death, beginnings and endings, and the shift between light and darkness. Her followers believe she guides them through fate's winding paths and protects them from deceit. Azura plays a central role in the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, where she aids the Vaermina in their journey to defeat Dagoth-Ur. Her artifact, Azura's Star, is a reusable soul gem prized by mages and adventurers alike. Her appearance is usually a beautiful glowing woman with stars in her eyes, often embodying grace and mystery. Despite her apparent kindness, Azura is still a Daedric prince. Her justice is absolute, and her plans may span centuries. Mortals worship her with reverence and fear, aware that her guidance often comes with a cost. Boethiah is a Daedric prince of plots, associated with deceit, treachery, and conspiracy, and the testing of strength through conflict. Often revered as a god of revolution, Boethiah embodies the belief that strength, cunning, and ambition are the keys of true power. Boethiah is one of the more active Daedric princes in mortal affairs, frequently stirring rebellion and encouraging followers to overthrow authority figures or societal norms. Boethiah's worship often involves ritualistic combat, where devotees prove their worth through trials of battle, deception, or assassination. The prince values personal empowerment and despises weakness and complacency. In the Elder Scrolls lore, Boethiah is especially significant to the Dunmer or Dark Elves, considered one of their good Daedra before their fall from grace. Boethiah is also said to have played a role in the cultural and political formation of the Chimer, ancestors of Dunmer, by overthrowing the worship of the Aedra. Their artifact, the Ebony Mail, is a powerful piece of armor that rewards stealth and punishes those nearby with poisonous shadow. Boethiah's quests often force players to confront betrayal and moral ambiguity, making them one of the most provocative and philosophically challenging Daedric princes. Clavicus Vile is a Daedric prince of bargains, wishes, and power, known for offering mortals deals that seem generous but often come with a sinister twist. His domain is one of manipulation through consent, mortals willingly making pacts with him only to discover the unintended consequences. Clavicus appears as a charming, well-dressed man with devilish features, usually accompanied by Barbas, his loyal talking dog, and often a part of himself. Barbas is known to help or hinder the prince's plans, sometimes going rogue, which leads to internal conflict within Clavicus's realm. His artifact, the Mask of Clavicus Vile, is a stylish helm that boosts persuasion and speech skills, a nod to his slick, manipulative nature. However, even those that wear the mask might find themselves subtly pushed towards decisions that serve Clavicus's greater schemes. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, his quest involves choosing whether to return Barbas to him or keep the rueful axe, a decision layered with moral implications. Clavicus thrives on these types of choices, where power is gained at a hidden cost. Unlike more overtly malevolent princes, Clavicus Vile operates through charm, offering what people think they want, only to teach them cruel lessons about desire, pride, and consequence. Hermaeus Mora is the Daedric prince of knowledge, memory, and fate, often called the Tide of Fate or the Watcher at the Window. He is one of the most enigmatic and alien of all the Daedric princes, embodying the pursuit of hoarding the forbidden knowledge. His followers seek truth at any cost, even their sanity. Mora's appearance is grotesque and otherworldly, a mass of tentacles, eyes, and inky darkness. He rules over Apocrypha, a vast, eerie plane of oblivion filled with endless libraries of black books and ancient tomes. The plane is dangerous, filled with lurking seekers and tentacled horrors that punish those who delve too deeply into secrets not meant for mortals. Hermaeus Mora is central to the Dragonborn DLC for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, where he interacts with the player in their pursuit of powerful knowledge and the defeat of Miraak, the first Dragonborn. In this story, Mora offers immense power but demands submission to his will, an ongoing theme in all of his dealings. Though not traditionally evil, Mora is indifferent to mortal life. He values knowledge above all, even if acquiring it leads to madness or death. Those who worship him seek truth, but often lose everything else in the process. Hircine is the Daedric prince of the hunt, the wild, and lycanthropy. Often referred to as the huntsman of the princes, he embodies the primal thrill of the chase and the balance between the predator and the prey. Unlike many Daedric princes, Hircine is not deceptive or chaotic. He is fair in his own brutal, natural way. Hircine governs over hunters, beasts, and lycanthropes, especially werewolves, whom he considers his children. He views the transformation into a beast not as a curse, but as a sacred gift, a return to one's true nature. Those infected with lycanthropy may enter his services willingly or unwillingly, often participating in his great hunt where prey is marked and hunted for sport. His realm of oblivion is called the Hunting Grounds, a vast, untamed wilderness where the souls of great hunters and lycanthropes go after death, if they honored the hunt in life. It is an eternal arena where predator and prey stalk each other endlessly. Hircine's artifact, the Savior's Hide, offers resistance to magic and is associated with his most devout followers. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Hircine's quest, Ill Met by Moonlight, gives the players a choice: honor the hunter or the hunted, reflecting his theme of natural selection. Hircine is respected, even by enemies, for his honor and clarity of purpose, a primal god of survival and instinct. Malacath is a Daedric prince of outcasts, curses, and the ostracized, often revered by those who have been shunned or betrayed. He is a god of vengeance, endurance, and strength through suffering, standing apart from the more refined or manipulative Daedric princes. Malacath is especially important to the orcs, who consider them their patron deity. According to Orcish legend, he was once a Trinimach, a noble god who was transformed into Malacath after being consumed and defiled by Boethiah. This event mirrors Malacath's own domain, born from betrayal, shaped by wrath. He is often portrayed as a hulking, grim figure wreathed in ash or shadow, wielding an immense physical strength. His realm, Ash Pit, reflects his harsh philosophy, a wasteland filled with eternal storms and trials where only the strong endure. Malacath despises cowardice, treachery, and weakness. He demands loyalty, but not submission. Those who follow him must prove themselves through resilience and righteous revenge, not blind obedience. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, his quest The Cursed Tribe tasks a player with restoring honor to a disgraced orc stronghold, underscoring his connection to justice and redemption through hardship. Malacath may be grim and unyielding, but to the downtrodden, he offers dignity, strength, and a voice. Mehrunes Dagon is the Daedric prince of destruction, change, revolution, and ambition. He is one of the most overtly malevolent Daedric princes in the Elder Scrolls universe, associated with chaos, natural disasters, and violent upheaval. Dagon's ultimate goal is to remake the world through destruction. He doesn't seek balance or growth, only ruin followed by rebirth in his own image. This makes him a constant threat to the mortal realm, especially when worshippers or cults like the Mythic Dawn seek to bring his power to Tamriel. His most iconic appearance is in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, when he serves as the main antagonist. The Oblivion crisis, triggered by the Mythic Dawn cult, sees Dagon's forces invade Tamriel through gates to his realm, the Deadlands, a fiery, hellish landscape filled with spike towers, lava, and Daedric armies. He even physically manifests in Nirn during the game's climax, a rare feat for a Daedric prince. Dagon's artifact, Mehrunes Razor, is a small dagger with a chance to instantly kill any opponent, symbolizing his destructive will condensed into a single, precise strike. Mehrunes Dagon is worshipped by those who seek to overthrow the existing order through fire and blood, revolutionaries, warlords, and madmen alike. His power is feared, and his name is often spoken in dread. Mephala is the Daedric prince of secrets, lies, murder, and sex, often referred to as the web spinner. She thrives on manipulation, hidden agendas, and the subtle influence of events from the shadows. Unlike princes who act openly and violently, Mephala operates through whispers, betrayal, and intricate plots. Mephala is considered one of the most mysterious Daedric princes, and her motives are rarely clear. She delights in watching mortals become entangled in webs of deceit, often pushing them towards morally complex choices. Her domain covers both violence and pleasure, emphasizing the power found in both seduction and bloodshed. To the Dunmer, Dark Elves, Mephala is one of the good Daedra, having helped shape their culture. She is credited with founding the Molag Bal, a guild of assassins who view murder as a divine, ritualistic act carried out in her name. She contrasts with Sithis, a force behind the Dark Brotherhood, in that her killings are precise and political rather than chaotic. Her artifact, the Ebony Blade, is a two-handed sword that grows stronger as the wielder betrays friends, a perfect reflection of her twisted philosophy, power through treachery. Mephala doesn't demand loyalty in the traditional sense. She rewards those who scheme and succeed, and punishes those who fail to see the bigger game. Meridia is the Daedric prince of life, energy, and the infinite energies of the universe. Unlike most other Daedric princes, she is strongly associated with light, purity, and the destruction of the undead, making her one of the few Daedra who is often seen as benevolent, though she is still deeply prideful and uncompromising. Meridia despises all forms of necromancy, undeath, and soul manipulation, viewing them as abominations that pervert the natural cycle. Her hatred for necromancers and undead are so intense that her followers are often tasked with cleansing them whenever they appear. Her realm of oblivion is known as the Colored Rooms, a radiant crystalline dimension of light and order, a stark contrast to the usual hellish or chaotic oblivion planes. She demands strict adherence to her ideals and views disobedience as treachery, which reflects her Daedric nature beneath the holy exterior. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Meridia's quest The Break of Dawn has the player cleanse her desecrated temple and destroy Malkoran, a necromancer. As a reward, she grants Dawnbreaker, a powerful sword that causes explosions of holy light and banishes the undead. Despite her good image, Meridia's unwavering sense of righteousness and domination reveals her Daedric essence. She helps mortals, but only on her strict terms. Molag Bal is one of the most feared Daedric princes in the Elder Scrolls universe, known as the Daedric Prince of Domination, Enslavement, and the Harvest of Souls. His name translates roughly to Stonefire, and he embodies cruelty, tyranny, and the desire to bend all mortals to his will. Molag Bal seeks to enslave the souls of mortals and bring the mortal plane under his rule. He revels in the suffering of others and is often depicted as a brutal, monstrous figure wielding an immense power. His actions are not just evil, they are meant to break spirits and corrupt purity, making him one of the most sadistic of the princes. He is the creator of vampirism in Tamriel, cursing mortals with eternal undeath and hunger as a mockery of life. Vampires often see him as their god and master, and some sects serve him fanatically. In the Elder Scrolls Online, Molag Bal is the central antagonist, attempting to merge Nirn with his realm, Cold Harbor, a twisted, dead world reflecting his hatred of life. Cold Harbor is a nightmarish mirror of Tamriel, stripped of warmth and freedom. His artifact, the Mace of Molag Bal, drains the stamina and magicka of those it strikes and can trap souls, a direct extension of his dominion over the body and spirit. Molag Bal is not subtle like Mephala or cunning like Clavicus Vile. He is pure domination, a symbol of unchecked power, control, and sadism, and a reminder of what happens when mortals are stripped of choice. Namira is a Daedric prince of darkness, decay, and the spirit of the opposite, often associated with the repulsion, rot, and all things considered disgusting or taboo. She governs over the forgotten, the deceased, the shunned, and those who dwell on the fringes of society, from beggars to cannibals. Unlike many Daedric princes who demand strength or cunning, Namira embraces corruption, ugliness, and filth as sacred. Her followers are typically outcasts who have been rejected by the rest of the world and who find power in embracing what others feel or revile. This includes cults of cannibals, lepers, and those who venerate death and decomposition. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, her quest, The Taste of Death, involves aiding a secret society of cannibals living in Markarth. Completing it rewards the player with Namira's Ring, which boosts stamina and grants health regeneration when feeding on corpses. Namira's realm is said to be a realm of eternal darkness and decay, a reflection of her dominion over what is cast aside and left to rot. While not as openly destructive as princes like Mehrunes Dagon, her power lies in embracing entropy, the slow, inevitable unraveling of all things. To worship Namira is to reject beauty, order, and shame, and to find strength in what the world rejects. Nocturnal is a Daedric prince of night, darkness, and mystery, often associated with shadows, stealth, luck, and secrets. She is revered not for cruelty or chaos, but for her deep connection to the unseen, everything hidden, lost, or forgotten. Nocturnal is the matron of thieves and shadow walkers. She is the spiritual force behind the Thieves Guild and the Nightingales, an elite order of her sworn agents. Her power flows through luck and fortune, particularly in acts of stealth, subterfuge, and misdirection. Unlike other princes, she rarely speaks or intervenes directly. Her influence is quiet, subtle, and ever-present. Her realm of oblivion is called the Evergloam, a twilight world of eternal night, shifting shadows, and ancient secrets. It contains smaller sub-realms like the Twilight Sepulchre, where the Ebonmere, a portal to her power, resides. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Nocturnal plays a key role in the Thieves Guild questline. The Dragonborn may become a nightingale and enter into a pact with her to protect the Ebonmere, ultimately gaining powers like Shadow Cloak of Nocturnal. Despite her seemingly cold demeanor, Nocturnal commands immense respect. She isn't cruel, she is eternal, unknowable, and a force of balance. She doesn't demand loyalty through fear or favors, but through the natural pull of mystery and the allure of dark. Peryite is a Daedric prince of pestilence, order, and natural balance. While often considered one of the lesser Daedric princes in terms of popularity or worship, his influence is vast and insidious. He governs over disease, contamination, and the proper ordering of the low and the high, believing that suffering and decay are necessary for maintaining balance in the world. Peryite is sometimes called the bringer of plague and is unique among princes for his obsession with hierarchy and structure. While many Daedra revel in chaos, Peryite values order through affliction, believing that plague and rot are tools to cleanse and realign the world according to their proper place. His appearance is usually that of a small, dragon-like creature, emphasizing irony. Though he resembles a dragon, he lacks the power and majesty of Akatosh or the true dragons of Tamriel. Still, his diseases are devastating and his will is unwavering. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Peryite's quest The Only Cure has the player confront a powerful alchemist corrupted by a deadly plague. Completing the quest grants the Spellbreaker a shield that blocks magical attacks, one of the most useful Daedric artifacts. Peryite's followers, often plague-ridden or cast out, see him as a purifier. To others, he is a terrifying reminder that disease and decay are just as much a part of nature as life and growth. Sanguine is the Daedric prince of hedonism, debauchery, and indulgence, ruling over pleasure, drunkenness, lust, and revelry without consequence. He celebrates the chaotic, carefree side of mortal life, where rules are ignored, inhibitions are shed, and personal gratification is the highest goal. Sanguine's realm isn't about cruelty or corruption in the traditional sense, it's about excess. He encourages his followers to abandon restraint and embrace their desires, whether that mean overindulging in food, drink, sex, or mischief. He is often portrayed as a charming, roguish figure, carrying a goblet or bottle and always in the midst of celebration. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Sanguine appears in the hilarious quest A Night to Remember, where the Dragonborn wakes up from a blackout after partying with a stranger named Sanguine, who is eventually revealed to be Sanguine himself. The quest takes the player on a bizarre trail of drunken destruction, mistaken identities, and missing items, perfectly capturing Sanguine's chaotic spirit. His realm of oblivion is a myriad realms of revelry, filled with endless feasts, temptations, and wild parties. Though seemingly lighthearted, Sanguine's influence can lead to addiction, ruin, and the unraveling of lives, all while he's laughing. Sanguine is a reminder that too much of a good thing can be dangerous, but also fun. Sheogorath is the Daedric prince of madness, chaos, insanity, and arguably the most iconic and unpredictable of the Daedric princes. Known for his erratic behavior, absurd humor, and sudden swings between friendliness and violence, Sheogorath represents both creative genius and complete lunacy. He delights in confusion, contradiction, and the breakdown of logic. To Sheogorath, madness isn't necessarily evil, it's freedom from rules, expectations, and reality itself. He is equally capable of whimsical generosity and terrifying cruelty, often without warning or explanation. Sheogorath is most famously featured in the Elder Scrolls IV Shivering Isles, the major expansion for Oblivion, where players explore his realm and eventually take his place as the new Mad God. The Shivering Isles are divided into mania and dementia, reflecting two faces of madness, euphoric brilliance and paranoid despair. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, he returns in the quest The Mind of Madness, where players enter the mind of a mad king to retrieve Sheogorath's artifact, the Wabajak, a chaotic staff that causes completely random effects. Sheogorath was once Jiggalog, the Daedric Prince of Order, but was cursed by the other princes to become the embodiment of madness. This duality gives his character surprising depth beneath the absurdity. To mortals, Sheogorath is terrifying, hilarious, and oddly charming, a god of the unknowable. Vaermina is the Daedric Prince of dreams, nightmares, and the stealing of memories. She governs over the realm of the subconscious, feeding on mortal fears, twisted desires, and the dark corners of the mind. Her influence is often subtle but deeply disturbing, making her one of the more terrifying and psychologically intrusive Daedric princes. Vaermina delights in invading sleep, crafting vivid nightmares, and harvesting memories. Mortals afflicted by her influence may find themselves haunted by visions, paralyzed by dread, or unable to recall their past. To her, memories and dreams are forms of power, personal, intimate, and easily manipulated. Her realm of oblivion is called Quagmire, a constantly shifting, surreal nightmare where reality changes moment to moment. Each time the inhabitants begins to grasp their surroundings, the environment twists into a new horror, a reflection of Vaermina's ever-changing dreamscape. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the quest Waking Nightmare centers around her artifact, the Skull of Corruption, a staff that manipulates dreams and damages minds by feeding on the thoughts of others. She represents the power of psychological torment, a reminder that most frightening realms are often the ones within our own minds.